same like level of effort. So you know, take what you see in this match kind of with a grain of salt. It doesn't. Everybody gets a first round bye in the upper Swiss, so it's kind of like hit or miss whether it really matters. And we don't have any commentary because this was on the extra stream, but we will put on game sound. So you can see very first round, Hive ran like a B strat, like aggressive on B. They tried to push across into our B building, which is kind of predictable. MSAF, thank you for the follow. So that was like an easy pick. It gave us control of up top, which is the really important part of the map on bunker. I switch up the playlist I'm listening to. Usually when you see retakes on this map, it involves the team retaking up top control so that they can then not get shot on B. We were holding their side up top. We were playing like a little bit more aggressive, which, you know, makes it more of a fight. And then they sent to the top of their B building right here, which doesn't like... It works if you also get up top on your side, but they didn't get up top on their side. I'm pretty sure we killed somebody, actually. You ready for the breakdown? I'm not going to dive, like, you know, discuss our secrets, so to speak, but we're going to talk about a lot. And obviously I'll be here to like answer questions and stuff. So again, like they're making this retake on B while we still have like the majority of control up top. So like these are really just textbook easy holds. By the time they've taken control of up top, we've already gotten the kill, and that allows us to push through in their B building and pick off more. Then this guy's in a bad spot, so he crows down. This guy's in a, you know, like it's just like a slow collapse. It's super textbook Gears 5 in terms of how you hold the setup after getting control on the initial. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward round. Yeah, literally none of us died that entire round. We have 0 deaths. They have 0 kills. So just a super like by the books, nothing special round. When you picture like like Gears, like Gears being a like tactical game, like that's how a round looks in an ideal situation for us, not ideal for them. All right, so this round looks like, again, they're playing aggressive on B, and we knew that they were going to do this. We had watched their other matches. So they're playing aggressive on B for the quick cap. The thing is, this gives us up top control. So yes, they're going to get this point lead momentarily. But because we have up top control, we can force them out, and then that gives us an angle to be able to cross down onto B. What's up, Daniels? What do you think about PK? I think they're the other like best team in the game. Easily. Right here, we're not really doing a good job of using our up top control, and we've kind of almost given it up to put our numbers on B. We've like rotated from middle right here. You can see Noe cut up top, or Exovio's cut up top. So number 1, that's Vic, ran away to our home hill. So that leaves him in a 1v1 on our home hill, but he's doing a good job of like not putting himself in the situation where he's going to get 2v1. This fight's going our way because of good team fire, but they win the fight. We should have won that fight just based off the rotation, so they did a good job of like holding on, being a man down for a moment. So here's like step 1 of retakes, right? You take your side up top. They weren't holding it, so that gives us it. Their setup on B is looks like 1 person plat, 1 person like kind of to the side of the B hill. They're kind of retaking top as well, maybe to see like how far up we've pushed. Because we have this person in the underpass, now we have options. We can either recut up top and play for an OE, or we can cut across over to B like you see Vic is doing right now. And because smokes are down for the first weapon placement, this allows the retakes to be a little bit more easy. We get the pick. We get another down. That's really big. We're at the point now, though, where we definitely need 3. And the fact that Gil gets this kill and then this down, really, really big. Because it's still kind of long spawns, so that gives us plenty of time to work with. We've staggered 3 deaths, so they're not going to have like 5 on the field. At least not well until we've had a chance to get into the hill. And then, who was that? Explosives and Kenny pushed through their spawn. So we got like a pinch on their hill, makes a super easy collapse, and it's really hard to hold that when you're, you know, man down, 2-man down. The biggest thing, the biggest situation, or situational like tip for those kind of moments is just making sure you take your time. Like, even though even though it seems like you have a lot of pressure on you, I got them skills. Thank you for the follow. Even though it seems like you have a lot of pressure on you, you have a good amount of time to work with. So it's good to kind of utilize the fact that you have time and remind yourself. So like in those kind of situations, we're going like, we have plenty of time, slow it down. We have 30 seconds. We have 40 seconds. Like, take your time, no dumb pushes, like making sure that we can fully collapse at the same time rather than like one person running in, suiciding, you know, and then now we're no longer in an advantageous position. Check yourself, 25. Thank you for the follow. All right, so same shit. They're running their B strat. They haven't really mixed it up yet, and I don't blame them. It's like I said, it's Swiss brackets, so I wouldn't expect the strat book to come out during this. We've taken up top control again, so this gives us the chance to shoot down low or cut from underpass or cut back up top and make a play on the kids up top. So it's fun that I'm watching it so far away from the tournament. It looks like we play for the kids up top, so you can see we're moving. This kid, Brian, puts himself kind of in a bad spot. He gets Vic, which is a good play by him to make something out of nothing. The mistake here was Tidy getting through mid-map without being seen. This is where, like, Arodi probably should have called it a day as soon as he saw Gil get down. But the good news is we've gotten our 2 hills capped. We have a chance. We have somebody hiding. Who is that? Probably Billy, right? So Billy's kind of hiding, being annoying. He does the smart thing and plays to get out. He doesn't commit to that fight, so he's not getting picked. And we have a 2 hill advantage. We're not up in points, but it only take about 10 to 15 seconds to get our point lead back. The other good thing is they didn't really retake up top control. The bad thing is because some of us were coming off spawn, we're not in a like full setup. So it's not like a clean hold. Damn, Vic went down to 36 there. That's crazy. And he's at 19% health right here. We're being really annoying here. We're playing to stay alive because our teammates are pushing across up top. So like we found an opening to make an OE play. I remember this looked really bad. I don't remember what happens from this. Looks like Billy got a pick. And then Kenny's up top. So he didn't commit to the OE. He probably could have helped commit to the OE. But we're making the map really chaotic right now. So this isn't like... This is like the opposite of round 1. Round 1 was like textbook clean play. This round is like... We're making the map very chaotic. I don't think we win this. Yeah, we definitely... we're still spawning into it, but I don't think we win this round. There's pretty much no way we win this round. And this probably goes bad because we never really had a chance to set up our control. Nice kill. The fact this team did not drop a map is crazy. Yeah, we played really well this event. Proud of the guys. 2-1. So both teams have ensigns. I would expect to see both teams put like flashes down for themselves or something like that, like in their loadout. I've put double flashes down. I don't remember if we matched them or not. Yeah, we stuck to our thing. So we give Vic utility because Vic's our front spawn here rather than putting, you know, flashes down where they're kind of not in the fight. The same thing again. Hive is running their 3B strat. We're playing up top heavy. It's the shortest respawns of the round, so overextension strats here not the most recommended. The reason we can get away with this is because Billy has ensign. Because Billy has ensign over here on B, we can send more numbers up top and still defend the B hill successfully, like you saw. It's pretty easy to get an ensign kill or at least force them off the hill right there. So Brown's going to slow down here a little bit. The Hive made sure that they had their top, like their side up top, and now they're rotating back to make their play on B. Actually, they're pushing up top. So whoever this is, number 9, he's like kind of pushed up into this corner. Now they're cutting through underpass while putting 3 numbers on, or 3 people on B. So the biggest thing here is for our B players to stay alive, make sure that the cut doesn't come back, which it looks like he went back up top. Good for us. And rather than actually defending B, it looks like we decided to put some numbers up top, and you can see we're lancering down from their side up top because we had numbers up there. Then once we got that first down, somebody rotated through underpass. Those are like clean mid-round plays that are like hard to plan for, but that good mid-round leadership from Explosive and Kenny. Nice kill. Heidi was playing really well this event. Oh my. That was a bad play by Brian. Brian should have stopped in the cover and probably just secured the kill, but doing that hop over animation pretty much guarantees that he's not going to get it. So now we're in a point where like we don't need B hill. That's a really big kill by Kenny to make sure he's not getting staggered. It's the shortest respawns of the round. We have plenty of lives. TJ's on his last respawn. So right now, like this is what we call turtle. So you notice like all of our players are running back and we're playing off only our hill. What you might see is one person, so right here, number 1, looking to be a rat, and it's always in like a different random spot. Every team does this. So like right there, Vic got a kill, and rather than staying for more fights, he runs somewhere else on the map to be annoying. He happened to run into one more person, but usually they just run past everyone, get in another hill. So right now he's breaking B. That way, if for some reason the 3 people or 4 people remaining actually broke our home hill, we have another win condition. That's that other hill. So that either gives us a chance to win off that hill or let us come off spawn and get our home hill back while people go have to deal with him. You'll see a lot of teams do that. Rush does it a lot for Rise. Actually, pretty much every player on PK does it a lot. So good first half. The funny thing too, coming into this event, Bunker was like near the bottom of our map list. Actually, it was pretty much the bottom, like in terms of like our tier list for our maps. Bunker was like based off scrim results and things, like we were confident on it if we had to play it, and we knew teams would pick that or Asylum against us, but Bunker was not a strong map for us. But we ended up looking really good on it this weekend. Or other people looked really bad on it. Vic downs Kenny there. That's unfortunate. This round is super important for initials. It's the longest respawns of the map. It looks like Billy's the last one alive right here. And the fact that he chose to cut into the fight is psychotic. And the fact that he won the fight is even crazier. Because if he dies there and they kill a roadie, we lose the round. So That's just like, that's one of those things where like it's just Billy plays. The other thing you can notice is because they have a massive point lead, is because they cap their home hill off the initial rather than not capping. We skipped our cap to have an extra body in the fight on these longer respawn rounds. We lost the fight kinda anyways. I mean, Billy won it for us, so having that extra body there helped, but that's why there was that massive point disparity. What's up, numbers? Will TC please do something about there being 5 guns in escalation, including grenades? What, you mean like drop shot, incense or shocks, lancer, shotgun, pistol? So it looks like Hive is going for an OE play. Kenny threw like a preemptive flash. He expected them to be chasing like a lot harder than they were. This is something a lot of teams do, where they like fake the OE and then cut back to mid, like to the neutral hill, because they already have that like control to do so. Yeah, no, the guns definitely need balancing, but I think that'll also come with the movement changes and everything else. Brian is not even hitting Kenny with those back A's. Very weird back A's. So Brian's put himself in a bad spot. I don't think we have time, but if we would have recognized it earlier, he would have been a free kill. Again, we're playing this round very textbook. Billy was hiding, trying to make like a sneaky play. And at this point, again, we can win off one if we absolutely need to. The biggest thing is just making sure not too many of us die in this fight right here. And it does look like they're on our hill anyways, so... he doesn't get the break. That's huge, because we did have 2 people die. He gets the break there, but we still have plenty of time to cap the hill. And they didn't know Powers was hiding here. Like, even after he shot him, they didn't know he was there. Him going for that up A, a little bit spetty, but I saw the vision. And then just, you know, big fight win right there on our home hill. They still had a chance. It could have looked to be a rat, but he thought they knew he was there. So I don't blame him. I don't think we win 5-1. I think we win 5-2, so we probably lose this next round. So we put down smoke grenades. They have down flashes. Not Daniel God. Thank you for the follow. Awang. Thank you for the follow. They give themselves a either Boltok or Talon pistol. Looks like they gave it to Zovios. So this second half fight is all about this mid underpass fight. Everybody's cutting into this fight. It reminds me of like reclaimed bullfight in Gears of War 4. Bangful, thank you for the follow. So we won the majority of the fight. But now it's even. They got the kills mid. And he's repositioning. That's good. No, this isn't live. This is the season finals that took place 2 weeks ago. The last event of season 1. The online major. Zurges, thank you for the follow. I like your videos. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Enemy contact. All right, so we're holding kind of like an aggressive setup here. And what I mean is like we're sitting on their side, making them use utility to get their own side back. Now they don't have utility, or at least the same amount of utility, to get further than their side. Except Zovius just takes it for free because we weren't looking. We were retreating. So it was a good play by him to do it like fast. The weird thing is they have 2 towards this B side. If you look up here on the mini map where my mouse is, they have 2 people floating over towards B. So I don't know. Maybe they're like kind of threatening an OE there. So when they start playing for the break, it looks like we start playing across up top. Plays like this are super risky. You have to really just commit to them. Which you can see, we had somebody turn around, so we didn't really, and then Erodi died to his own instant, unfortunately. So we couldn't really commit to it. Now they're just looking to stay alive. Really big pick here in mid. This is going to kind of balance out the numbers, and it opens up the door for us if we want to OE. Because that was like basically their home kid. So now they have to panic and rotate back. We can get to their home hill, get in here, make sure they're not set up fully, get a break, except Gil dies right there. And realistically, are people off spawn? So number 3, Billy, and number 5 should have been playing for E-Hill rather than committing to this OE. But, you know, they're here. And it looks like somehow number 5 gets onto E anyways. So, a little bit of a Mr. Krabs situation. Damn. Well played by TJ. Trying to like get my mic. So Zovios is on our home. We've won E-Hill. The 2 people on their home. Okay, well, I don't know what Brian's doing here. That instant is like, even though it doesn't get a kill, it's fine because it forces him to not be able to sit like in a comfortable spot. So what Kenny and Billy are doing here on their home hill is actually like really good. Huh, we must 5-1 them. To rule, what's up, man? So 5-1 first map. Again, this was like one of our worst maps coming in. Like this was one step above autoban. Wait, they had music? Huh. That's cool. They had music on the side station. All right, so we're going to go to map 2, which was training, I believe. Yeah, here we go. All right, so both teams are playing for a B strat, which means they're both playing for B off the rip. Billy was full red, and TJ gets a jump on him, so that was a well-played play by him. Praised made kind of like an on-the-fly play to cut in through mid, so we ended up getting B control even though they got first blood, which I don't think they were ready for that play. So good heads-up play by him. He's looking to make more happen because it's longer respawn. So you can see, like, because it's longer respawn, like, we have all the time in the world to swarm their hill like that. No pun intended. Now, because, like, we've gotten the kill on B and they've come off spawn and we didn't really get control of their home hill back, it's better just to back up because of spawn protection. So we can just kind of get in our setup. We can get, like, ready, set up our line of defense, and hold this 2 hill. Let them make the mistake. So clearly they're posturing to take up top. We have a counter flash, which is good. I don't know how a Rody only gets 1 there. It's kind of unfortunate, but we cleaned up the other one. Another 3rd kill. It's pretty easy. I don't think we know that guy was baby steps, but he should have just seen him. So Tidy's in kind of like no man's land here. And so Zovios tried to make a play to get on the hill. He didn't really have much of a choice. Good communication from them. Tidy knew he didn't need to die for the break. The only problem was Demise didn't stay in the hill. Yeah, flashes are very wonky right now. I think they're a little bit weaker than what they should be. So both teams giving themselves utility to be expected. Honestly, not really to be expected. Usually, the first thing you see is people putting flashes here, but I think because of like the way the fights are going now, people have started putting down giving themselves flashes. So right here, they opted for the B strat again. And it looks like we just did like the default base. The base is where you send 2 people to fight like back at you. But they're in the 2 hill setup, and we're kind of not in a good position. So be curious to see how we get out of this, or if we lose the round because of this, because we're currently losing our home hill. And these guys are not in a good spot. This is about all they can do is make this push right here. Somebody's on our hop over, and Arodi wasn't aware. He is drawing a lot of bodies back to him. I don't know what number 6 is doing, though. That's Billy. Yeah, I feel like Billy was not in a good spot for a long period of time during that round. Like, winch is a great spot, but given the situation, it wasn't a good spot. You know what I mean? So you guys are aware, my goal tonight is to get through at least this match, and then maybe like up to when we play Rise, like get through the Rise series, and then leave the oh god, because I don't think we played Rebel on stream, and I don't think we played Cracked or whatever that team's name was on stream. So I'd like to do this, the PK match from Swiss, and then the Rise match from Bracket Play. And then maybe tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Maybe tomorrow do the 2 other PK matches, winners finals and grand finals. All right, so I didn't pay attention to the initials. Slick Kill Will, thank you for the follow. I need to do something about my monitor distancing when I reset up my office or get new monitors or something. So they try to make a B retake through middle. We just have really good crosses, and Billy is, Billy, so that should get shut down. Kenny died though. Kenny died on the back of U. So that kind of leaves our home open. But it looks like we've already rotated, and Praise has picked that up, which is super important. He's got another body with him. Kenny's already off spawn, so really no harm, no foul. Kenny's literally already back on the hill. So we're still holding our setup, the exact same setup. The only difference is now they have winch control, which they might have even had before. So Billy just has to stay tucked into this corner and let everyone else watch his lanes for him, aka this like mid. He does get pushed, and he somehow gets a kill on Brian. I think Brian just kind of choked right there. I feel bad because Hive requests like the East Coast host. So we just let them host both matches, and Brian is West Coast, so Brian is going to lag his ass off. Don't understand it, but it is what it is. 2-1 lead. This was our map pick. Like I said, you can always tell traditionally who's host based on COG. COG is host. We just let them host all the maps this series. So this is where you see upgrade to shocks for probably both teams. Realize my mouse is on the screen. Sorry about that. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask them in the chat. If you need me to pause something and explain it, let me know. I mean, I've got my handy dandy coaching tool here where I can draw for you guys. So that ended up kind of looking like a dick. Sorry. It was supposed to be a smiley face. I promise. All right, both teams running a B strat. They played to cross down Billy, but we crossed them back down. The problem is Billy was in no man's land. TJ was next to his teammate. And it looks like somebody's getting pressed a little bit mid. So Gil's going to be that help mid. We rotate. Looks like we're rotating off. Maybe threatening an OE. We definitely take winch control here, which is big. The spot that Kenny's in. And we are going to OE. The hardest part about these OEs, especially when it's like the shortest respawns, is they have shock grenades, they have bodies, and they have all the crosses in the world from sitting on their side of the map. That's kind of the problem with Gears 5 maps overall, is just the kind of one dimensionality of them. There's not a lot of plays you can make. So yeah, the shocks last a long time. Probably need to be shortened. So right now you can see Vic popping off cover like that and looking down. We're just trying to get numbers, try to figure out where everyone is. And that kind of helps dictate the retake. So we've got up top control. Remember how we were talking about on bunker, like the up top control is pretty important for a retake. Getting up top control is kind of the same importance level for retakes on training. You want to have this winch control like where Billy is, so you can shoot either their host spot where Tidy was, number 5, or you can shoot down actually into B into what we call God spot, which is where number 3 Brian is. So we kind of flood numbers of this side, and you sacrifice some of us to get the down on Brian, but Brian's not going to have a revive because of just like how setups work. The problem is even with 2 hills, we have to play for 3. So we're going to have to kind of flex where people are positioned and go for multiple spots. A roadie getting that break is actually really huge. Now it's just important that Noe doesn't get the same break, or Zobius doesn't get the same break. And Billy got a touch somehow, and Billy gets a kill somehow because Billy things. So those are really big. We got the kill on Zobius on our side of the map. That makes it so we no longer need 3. We just have to hold. The problem is holding at this point where we've kind of traded off kills is going to be really hard because we're not in our like setup. So Vic's play right here to OE and get another really annoying break and get a kill. Like the fact that he gets a kill is just icing on the cake, because that kind of counters the break that they got. It drew their numbers back to their home hill. Now they're no longer getting and securing B. Tidy answered back right there with a really important kill and a chance to get their home, but they never capped their home hill, which I don't know if I understand and or agree with. They just left their home hill uncapped. So this whole time we've just been building a point lead to the point where we don't even need B hill. Like right now we're just screaming like be annoying, right? We're in such a good spot. Like nobody's really near our home hill. Even with Gil dying right there, once you see the clock tick over to 240, or the score of the leading team tick over to 247, and the hill is not being broken, then you know they've won the round. That's like a little trick. If you see like 246 click over to 247 with no like decapping animation, then, or nobody's in the hill, then the round's over. It looks like we opt to give Vic a flash, and they put a drop shot down, which I'm not entirely sure why. Like hindsight 2020, I'm not sure why they would want this fight. This is kind of like the standard fight you see, but why this fight is... Could I rewind what, the whole thing? What's up, Overtime? What did you want me to rewind? What's up, Reaper Skull? How are you, man? Yeah, I'm not really sure why the drop on here. We have the extra utility, which honestly didn't help us on this initial. It should have, but like in a perfect world, it does. Right here, biggest thing is Kenny stays alive long enough so that when he does die, Billy can respawn, which he did. So that was good. Just to the 247. Okay. I went way too far back. My bad. So right there. 247 to 228. Nobody was in vicinity of the hill. So it's like a guarantee. That's like when I, as a coach, can take a sigh of relief. Like when I see the 246 tick to 247 and nobody's in our hill, then that's when I like can go, okay, next round. Like, you know what I mean? Like that just like, cool, that one's done. On to the next one, because like you have to look at it one round at a time. You can't get too caught up in a lead that you have, because when it's first to 5, it goes away so quickly. It can change so quickly. I mean, how many times have we seen teams be up like 4-0, us included, and just choke it? So you can never really like count it out. You have to just take it one round at a time. So it takes 4 seconds to decap. It's like, I think so. I think it's 4 seconds. You have to get into the hill by 246 in order to get a break for the before the point takes over. It's a little bit finicky though, because it's like when it registers you getting in the hill and like the timestamp of the point ticks. It's somewhere in that range, 3.5 to 4. It's like really hard to test in a perfect world because ping. Pretty much that's like the reason. I think their shock placement might have been a little bit better. And they won that initial. So Demise has drop. They're going to have the 2 hill advantage. Explosive taking the underpass area. We've got, I don't know if they know, but Billy's played up really far on their back street or back alley, whatever you call it. And this is going to be kind of like one of those moments where, like, as a team, we can call, okay, we're going to play around Billy, or, okay, Billy be a distraction while we go do this. So I don't know if they know he's there. Demise has active, so this is where he gets a free drop kill because that's how the drop shot works. And here's Billy doing Billy things. He used the drop. Oh, that's so unfortunate he didn't get that kill. He used the drop, but we got the break. Wait. Damn, Kenny. Kenny's so good. Kennedy's like the most clutch and least credited for it player. Especially when it matters. So right there, Tidy's kind of throwing his life away. I'm not sure his positioning. So it looks like he played for up top when we picked off those kids behind him. So I guess he didn't really throw his life away. He's just in a bad, or like in a bad situation because of it falling apart around his team. As a coach, how would you help your team mid-round? Making sure they stay calm. Sometimes calling strats or helping call plays or potential plays. Making sure that we stay focused or like don't get caught up in, you know, like whatever the discussion is. So like if we lose an initial, like people have the habit of like talking about why we had the initial, or like, oh, if you would have played up with me there, like we could have won that, or oh, he was one shot, was nobody looking, or, and then, you know, everyone's like, I wasn't looking, like I was doing this or whatever. And so like for me, it's like, all right, focus, like what's our retake? Gil, what's our play? Kenny, what's our play? Like just making sure that we stay like on a path to try to find success. That's kind of more mid rounds, and then making sure that we're calling numbers. That's like the biggest thing for me. In this game, it's a little bit different because the power weapon spawns are on your screen on like Gears 4, so I'm not actively like calling for plays as much as I was in Gears 4. Just because in Gears 4, you know, I'm the one with the timers with the weapon, so I'm the one calling our plays around them. That may look like a wasted drop for a lot of people, but it prevented the decap a little bit longer. And at this point, Hive looks like they're giving up on the round. In matches, do they stream to you in Discord so you can be more help? Yeah. There's a lot of ways to like share screens in nearly real time. So just using one of those methods so that can be active in comms. It's what pretty much every team does. Oh man, Chunky with the 18-month resub. Welcome back. 2 babies. We've had 2 Twitch babies. Welcome back, Chunky. Thank you so much, buddy. Put a little hype and love in the chat for you. Hope you're doing well. All right, so we started our smoke grenades. Those usually get built to ensigns. Let's see if we can do a little bit better job on this initial. Billy played like really aggressive, and Rody picked up the kill. That was actually like a really good teamwork thing. The problem is we got double down. If Kenny hops over and gets a revive, oh my god, that is so clutch. So Vic didn't run back down low from our side. Like, he thought the fight was over when Gil got pushed. If he didn't do that, we probably win the round off elimination. The good news is we are in a position right now where it's pretty long respawns. We have the drops. Zovios has really bad respawn economy compared to us. Like, we're all on 4s, 3s, and Gil's on 2. Sounds like we wasted a drop already. Congrats on the win. Thank you, man. The egg is always clutch when you least expect it. Facts. So they're making their retake right now. I don't know if Kenny just doesn't have another drop or wasn't feeling it. But he's dead. Or he just holds his shot right there. Goat shit. I feel like training grounds E pushes are very easy to hold when you're in setups. So anytime you go for those, it's almost like 9 times out of 10 you see the aggressing team losing it. You almost have to work the map where you like threaten an OE and then come back to E, or fake push E and then threaten the OE through mid map, or I don't know. You have to be weird on this map. This retake should work because Arodi got down. He got down from their host pocket, I believe. Number 2. Oh, he probably got crossed from their host pocket though. And we're also getting pressured on our home. Our home hill died, so now we have to hold this with our lives while our teammates come off spawn. Who's the loudest in comms and why is it praised? I don't know how Vic didn't get that kill right there. Because he's from New York. That's why he's the loudest in comms. Everything has to be yelled. That's how they're raised. Time is it? 10:22. It's past my fast, but my fast is starting now. But I feel like I should drink one of these like fruit smoothies in my fridge. Yeah, I should. I've only ate like wings and a salad today. All right, same initials. Looks like just this chaotic fight. Damn, Vic missed his shot right there. Gil's making a really good play here. Rather than trying to flank, he came into this like middle of the circle to try to get a couple pop shots over, but didn't work out. We lost the initial. So you can see clearly like what I was talking about before, man. Like it's one round at a time. We went from being up 4-1 to now it's 4-3, right? So like they're literally one round away from tying it up and making it go to a round 9. So like you really can't ever like get the momentum, like let that go to your head or get too like caught up in it, because you start to take your foot off the gas when it starts feeling too easy because things are working because you're trying really hard. People have a tendency to take their foot off the gas a little bit, like, oh shit, I'm winning the race, I don't need to put as much effort into it, and then next thing you know, it's 4-4 for the bread. Cerule, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate you, man. Welcome to the Ashes Army. Enjoy the emotes. Much love. Is there some hype and some love in the chat for Cerule? All right, round 8. Pretty short respawn. Second shortest in the game. TJ's playing really aggressive across. Really big down by actually massive double kill by Praise there. And just like that, they're 5 dead. Brian yeah, he's able to spawn up. So this is round's not over. We're gonna have to set up here, and you can see we've already rotated back to our home. So our home hill's Our home hill is responsible for capping the hill and watching for the OE. Winch player, which is Imago, which is Powers, is responsible for watching the OE and getting early damage on these guys. So that drop shot was short, but they got crossed out anyways. So like you kind of have roles when you know the round's not over. We like know like whoever's the closest to going to our home goes to our home. Whoever like is closest up top or who is up top, take up top. Look for the OE because you're going to be the one who can call those numbers before a home hill player really can. How dare you bully me and then put it on YouTube? I'm sorry, Tiff. I put it on there because of our tremendous friendship and because I've put up matches where you and I bully people. So why not have that like inter-bulliness too? How are you doing, Tiff? Grabbing a fruit juice. Give me a sec. All right, so they make a numbered push up top. I don't know why that shit ever works. I hate that it works for other teams and not for us, but luckily we kept them hurt, so that's shut down. The one problem is this dude's on our home. Billy was crossing for us. Good news is we're ready to pick it up. Altex, thank you for the raid, man. Welcome everyone from Altex stream. Tidy's on his last respawn. Oh shit, I didn't shake it. We're in a situation, so we're up by 100 points. So if we wanted to be assholes and just sit on our home hill and win off that, we could. Problem is there's a drop shot on the map, so we really can't do that. They try to do both at the same time. So they try to take E and our home at the same time. Splitting their numbers like that, probably not a good idea. And now we're in a situation where, again, we're back in control. We have our home hill. They're splitting it again, which means that we have the ability to be really weird, go through mid-map and flank like Kenny just did. Like, we're just in a good spot all around. We have drop shot. Tidy's off the map permanently. There's somebody hiding on our home hill being really weird. I think that's Brian. Brian get a kill because of it? Nope, Brian chokes against Vic. So Brian actually just hit on our home hill to pick up another kill rather than capping the hill. I don't know if I agree with that play given the situation. I see the vision, but I don't know if I agree with it. Which character was I? I'm a coach, man. This wasn't me playing. So 5-1, 5-3. Clean 2-0 over Hive.